Augusto Pinochet was the dictator, the president of Chile from 1974 to 1990. He took power through a coup overthrowing the then president Salvador Allende in 1973. His reign has been described by many as one filled with violence and repression, while others point to the economic achievements under his reign that have allowed Chile to become, till now, the richest country in South America. Pinochet was born on the 25th of December
12 seconds later.
And that's how he became the commander-in-chief of the Chilean army on the 23rd of August 1973. Chile was governed by Salvador Allende. During this period, he implemented poor policies which, combined with overall mismanagement under his government, caused an economic crisis in the country. He nationalized industries, raised the minimum wage several times, and increased public spending with the hope that economic growth and increased production would justify these policies and keep inflation in check.
Hey, that's pretty good.
This plan didn't work out, and the increased demand for goods and services, as well as the careless printing of money, resulting in the country experiencing massive inflation going above 600% by 1973. The government tried to address the issue through fixing prices, but this only led to shortages. Allende wasn't helped by decreasing copper prices in the international market, which was the country's most important export, forcing it to borrow more from foreign lenders to pay for imports. These problems continued till 1973, when on the 11th of September, Pinochet would take over the country, making himself the supreme chief of the nation. After taking over, the government banned all political parties and began a period of arrests, torture, disappearances, and murder of anyone who opposed the new regime, especially socialists who largely supported Allende. Many people would leave the country, which would still not ensure their safety, as the government tried and succeeded in assassinating prominent critics and opponents. Was Pinochet bothered about this? Well, he was asked about the discovery of a mass grave of his government's victims. Pinochet joked that it was an effective way of burial.
He really was a cunt, wasn't he?
So that's all pretty bad, but you can't say it's anything special when it comes to dictators. What makes Pinochet stand out among dictators is the argument that he transformed Chile into a country with the most successful economy in South America with high standards of living. It's even called the Chilean miracle. Is this true? Is Pinochet responsible for Chile's economic success?
Well, let's find out.
Coming to power, the government's first priority was to tackle inflation and reduce the budget deficit, which it did by enacting austerity policies. The government cut spending and subsidies while also privatizing many industries except the copper industry, which was its most important. This austerity lasted for a couple of years and was probably unavoidable. After the economy stabilized, he got the Chicago Boys, who were a group of economists, most of whom had studied from the University of Chicago and believed in deregulation, privatization, and other free market policies to implement their ideas in Chile. Their free market policies, as well as the improvement in the price of copper, seems to have brought success as Chile's economy recovered. However, much of this growth depended on foreign borrowing, which was ending up in real estate, an unproductive investment. If the country were to experience an external shock, the country experienced an external shock. The Latin American debt crisis, more specifically. This affected Chile and caused a debt crisis, resulting in the economy crashing. The rest of Pinochet's reign would be busy in economic recovery. His government was also corrupt and the country saw rising inequality. He would be forced to leave the presidency in 1990, stay as commander-in-chief of the army till 1998, become senator for life, and then get the title of ex-president, which granted him immunity from prosecution. He was held in the UK for a while and then came back. Then he died in 2006. There were plenty of attempts to get him to answer for his crimes, but they did not succeed. Most of the economic growth and improved living standards happened after Pinochet left. Large improvements in living standards and decreasing inequality happened because of the redistribution policies under his successors. He does deserve credit for the structural reforms implemented under his government, which gave Chile stronger institutions compared to neighboring countries, but the actual management of the economy was poor. The MVP and biggest reason for Chile's success is the copper industry, which the country heavily relies on. All this sounds less like a miracle and more like some good reforms and luck. So at the end, Pinochet was a brutal dictator who was bad at running the country. 3 out of 10, I recommend everyone get a refund on your Pinochets.